Welcome back to another review. We're going to be doing a review of a player that's not actually a member. If you guys don't remember, only members get their replays done in video format. However, if you are not a member, we'll do it on Saturday. This player is not a member, but they left such a detailed review. They're very honest, and I decided that I'm going to do it anyway. The person has ranked anxiety, and you're not the only one. There's a lot of people in my Discord that had it. I had it personally when I got to high ranks. When I get to high rank in any game, I sometimes feel like I don't belong in the first few games that I'm there, and it feels like I don't really want to queue, and you know, am I as good as I think that I am? And eventually as you start playing, it gets better and better. And if you want to talk to anybody about it, link in the description below for my Discord. You can hop in, say what's up. We would love to have you, but it gets better. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's hop in. All right, so we're gonna be looking at a Rocket gameplay here. You got a nice little crosshair. I see you trying to get all dolled up. Okay. We're gonna look at this here, and we're gonna discuss just how we can improve. This is a silver game, I believe. Silver's a bronze game. And so we're gonna see how we can improve at our Rocket. So first things first, that beacon is really, really far. The beacon would be better if you can shoot this. What you could do, I don't know the button on PC, maybe one of you guys can let them know in the comments, but there's a button to see what's breakable, and it'll shine yellow. This is breakable, so you can shoot in here and then put the beacon in this corner. A lot of people won't see it, and it's hard to find. And then when your teammates get KO'd, maybe they overextend somewhere around here, maybe like somewhere around here, it's okay because the beacon is far enough for them to come back. Now, that beacon that's way back there, if they overextend, they might not get brought back, and we might even see it in this game. So the best advice I can give you when it comes to Rocket beacon placement is to just think about, where is the fight going to take place, and is it going to move forward? If it does, try to move it a little bit closer, even if you have to do it in like a spot. This is just an example. I wouldn't do it, but let's just say you know the fight is going to be overextended. You could put the beacon here because you already know that it's going to be a very, very deep fight. So just something to think about is think about where the fight's taking place, and then place your beacon based off of that, because they may overextend and not get brought back. Luckily he got KO'd instantly, but I mean, it's not lucky, but yeah. So here you're doing great, but a little tip for you, if you want to get the most out of your healing, you have to think about ways to bounce the orb off of something and then have it bounce back through the target. They get double the healing. So as an example, if you shoot Groot and it goes through and then it just hits this and it takes off, he only gets the healing orb once. But if you shoot Groot and let's say you bank it off of this thing right here, that right there, it'll shoot, bounce off, go this way possibly, but it's gonna hit him twice. So you get ×2 the healing. So whenever you can put yourself in that scenario where you can have balls bouncing off of, like going through them and then bouncing back through them, have like that ricochet effect, that's quality Rocket healing. So you wanna make sure that if you can possibly do that in any way, shape, or form. That double healing is busted, and that's what you wanna try to strive for. The weakness to Rocket, however, is when you have a very open map, he can't pull that off. You know what I mean? So if we look right here, he's coming through, right? As I said, line it up. So you could line it up like this, and so that whenever the ball bounces, it bounces that and it comes right back to you. And he has multiple orbs just doing this. He would survive. But in this clip, he didn't survive because of the way that you were positioning. I mean, it'd been hard to keep him alive, I'm not gonna lie to you, but he has a better chance as you do that. But every orb you shoot, you see how it goes out and then it bounces out. If you line yourself up, it'll shoot to him and then it'll bounce back to you, and then shoot, like he'll do that, and you have multiple orbs just flying around at once. It is very strong, so I highly recommend you start doing that. Ironically, we're able to see it in live because you do it here on accident. But look, you see how Magneto decides to turn the corner? You're accidentally doing this, but you're gonna see how much more healing he gets because it bounces through him and then bounces off the wall. Look, you shot once. Oop, now we're just all out of frame, huh? You shot once, and then it bounces off and it heals him again. You see? And then it heals him again. And then it heals him again. So he's like getting double the healing because it's bouncing off and then bouncing through him again. Very important. You can actually see it a little bit better if we do it this way. I don't know why I didn't go to your camera view, because you can see the healing. Look. It went through him again, right? It went through him twice there. Once, twice. It came back, that's twice. You see? It's so much more healing, and you can hear it. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. It's so good. I want to put emphasis on that because it is a very important thing you need to learn how to do as Rocket. That's why I'm putting a lot of emphasis on it.
That put a spring in my step.
Relay deployed. Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
I also want to share with you a little tip that if you get on a wall, you dash a lot further. So for anybody playing Rocket and you don't know this, you dash a lot further if you use a wall. I'll actually just demonstrate it real quick. All right, so look, if you want to go up, see, look, that's as high as you go. However, if you run on the wall first, see the difference? So that works no matter what angle you're at. If you want to go sideways, right? And I want to jump at the edge. See? So you want to get used to using your jetpack on walls and you'll be able to get a lot more value out of it. But if you use it on the ground, you don't get that much value out of it. This is really good if you are running from someone and you need to get high really quickly while still healing. You would get on the wall. You're trying to get on the wall. There you go. You get on the wall and then you can slow fall. Now I'm on mouse and keyboard, so my buttons, I don't use this. But look, you go up and you slow fall. Oh, you have to hold, oh my God. Slow fall and you can heal, you see? You see how much harder you are to hit as you slow fall down? Versus if you're trying to run away like that. You see, like you're cooked. But if you're in the air and you're floating, it's harder to hit you. You have a lot more time to buy before you hit the ground, before you can get your next jetpack. It's really, really good. And I'll show you what it looks like with a lower cooldown. And you could possibly get it back by the time you land if you do it on certain walls. So jetpack off, float down, and we'll see. You're gonna basically have your other jetpack boost by the time you hit the ground. And if you can manage to find someone with a high skybox like that, you got another charge, just like that. So something to keep in mind. All right, so we're back from getting KO'd there. It's almost overtime. We have to hurry up and get the point. Again, I like it. Just put it in there. Just in case someone decides to flank you, it's in here, okay? But nonetheless, I like the beacon. Unfortunately, we put our ultimate in a pretty bad spot. The reason why I say this is a bad spot is because if the team decides to shoot the beacon, they can. You want to put it in obscure locations. So anytime that you're using your rocket beacon, it'll actually stretch the higher you are. Matter of fact, we're just going to show another example of this. Okay, so look, if I put the beacon down on the ground, you see how it works? But they can shoot it, right? Your team might get it, but they can shoot it. But if you put it high, I don't know if it actually works here, but it usually works on platforms. This is just really, really high, so I'm not sure if it works, but we'll see. You see? Now I got it, and they have a really, really hard time shooting. So if you could try to find somewhere that is really high, it's hard for them to shoot it, or if you can put it behind a wall, as an example here, your team can use it. But you got to be careful, because if you don't place it right, it'll break line of sight. So basically, if you put it, I can't do it again until it runs out. If you put it too close to where it's like that, it'll break line of sight. So really, you have to think about how you angle it so your team gets it, but it's in cover. So if we put it more like maybe like right here, it's still in cover, but your team can still have a better chance of using it. You see? So just something to think about. All right, back to the VOD. So we talked about your rocket place, your beacon placement, and we talked about your amp placement. Now what we want to do is talk about your positioning, because that's very important as well. As Rocket, every map is generally the same. Well, I mean, it's not generally, it basically is the same. So you want to try to think about what locations are your favorite spots that are very hard for you to get caught by, but it also gives you a lot of access on the battlefield. As I said before, maps with very big open space, it's really hard to bounce orbs off of. So you really got to make sure that you get a lot of angles to properly play the game. You could maybe hide up here, kind of like Cloak and Dagger. And if you need to run, you can scoop around here. There's also a health pack back there. You can probably sit over here if you want to. right? You can sit down here if you want to. The problem is if they go right, you're in trouble, but you can sit there. You can even come over here and shoot like this. Basically, you want to try to find little nooks and crannies for you to stand in. If we watch the gameplay, you're gonna notice that you're gonna be just chilling out in the open. You see? You're in the middle of nowhere. This means that it's hard. It's very easy to get you. Rocket's hard to catch because he's running all the time and he's on walls and stuff like that. But you're always in the middle of nowhere. That was actually pretty good. I wouldn't have just run on the wall like that, but that's basically what I'm talking about. Is you want to try to be in a position where you're not in the middle of nowhere so you can run away. Kind of see what I mean? Is like you're really, really mobile, which is fine, but he doesn't always have to be. Really move around if you're going to get attacked. Otherwise, try to stay in a vicinity so you don't have to move a lot and your team knows where you are. Because at the end of the day, the more that you reposition, the harder it is for you to know what's going on. If you can look at the battlefield and see the battlefield, you don't have to camp 3 miles away. But basically, if you can look at the battlefield and it's your stationary, you can see everything that's happening. You can plan what you're doing next. If you're constantly moving around and dashing and running up walls, and it basically means that whenever your camera is not focused on the battlefield, things can shift. And should you not pay attention, you're gonna come back and be like, I don't know where I am and what am I doing? As an example, you're looking right now, right? But your back is towards the enemy. So should anything happen, you can't see it. So one thing I noticed is you and your Cloak and Dagger never play together. I mean, your Cloak and Dagger has got to be the most scariest player I think I've ever seen. Are they your duo? I'm only asking just cause. They are hiding. Like their gameplay is very scared. I don't think I've ever really seen this before, but they're very afraid to play the game. And so that means that you have to keep that in mind, that if she's in danger, you have to try to help her. Where your position now and where you were even in the last round is that she's nowhere near you. So if you have to help her, she's like blocked by walls and stuff like that. How do we remedy this? Well, we try to get into the position where we can help her. Like that. You even get back here, right? And you heal her if she's in danger. You can shoot your entire team. And then as they move, you can shoot this way. And you kind of just want to keep her in front of you. And should she take damage, it's going to go through her and heal your team anyway. And that's something that you want to keep in mind. So the easiest way to climb a strategist is paying attention to where your entire team is. And it's very important that you and your strategist play together when you get attacked. Because strategists by themselves is pretty much easy food. So the one thing that I noticed that I like a lot is you're very good at fighting. You're very good at fighting. You're very good at repositioning. The issue is you just reposition a little bit too much. Again, have your safe spot, have your main hub, and then move around should you need to. Here's a brief example of what I mean. So a little bit further behind, sorry. All right. So this is basically you needing to have your main hub, right? And then look what happens after. You start doing a whole bunch of different stuff. Not yet. Maybe I'm trolling. Maybe it was a bit earlier than that. We'll probably see it because you do it a lot. Like right now, this is great because that's what I mean. You had your hub and you played around it. But a lot of the times it's very hit or miss when you do it, as I've seen through the replay. That was really well played and the fight went great. Not saying you doing that is going to carry the fight all the time, but if you're in the main vicinity and you have your little area, you can shoot for free, you can heal for free, and should you get attacked, that's when you start moving. You're very movement prone when you're playing. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to find a specific example, but you move around a lot when you don't need to. Even though you're very good at it, I would recommend just trying to be, even right now, you see kind of how like you're all over the place. Find yourself a little hub and play in that, and then proceed to play. The more you move around like this, the harder it is for you to play the game. You have to always reposition. Again, it's way better if you only move when you have to. Otherwise, stay in your area, shoot orbs and damage as much as you can within your area, within your safe space until it's compromised. So one other thing that I noticed, and I think you're a really good Rocket player, by the way. I don't know if quick play has helped you or what, but you're definitely better than the rank that you're in right now. One thing that I noticed that will probably skyrocket your wins is knowing when to do damage and when to heal. It seems like you're struggling with that. Sometimes you'll shoot and then you'll start healing again, or sometimes you should heal but you're shooting, or you should shoot but you're healing. This is kind of an example right here. So you start shooting this guy, and then you just stop. But why? This is why it's important for you to always be able to see your team, because you'll be able to know how healthy they are when you're shooting. Remember what I said, stay in your hub. Your hub allows you to see everybody. So you know when you can do damage versus when you can't. This particular moment, I think you were fine shooting him and you should have kept shooting him, but you didn't. Mainly because you kind of can't see your team, so you're unsure. Even right here, your team is healthy. Shoot some bullets, fire some shots. The thing is, when you're healing and you bounce things off like I suggested, you can bounce the orbs off of here and it'll travel back, right? Shoot a few and then do damage. Rocket's healing is over time. There's a burst of, I think it's 75 HP at the start, and then it heals over time. So if you have a couple of balls already bouncing around, you can start doing damage. They're all standing in the same spot, and although his damage is lower because of fall off damage, damage is damage. If you could shoot, you need to shoot. It helps a lot. So when you learn how to juggle the healing and the shooting at the same time, I think you'll be so much better. It's not about why you should shoot in terms of the character specific or something like that. It's about, do I have the ability to shoot? Then I will shoot. And at this moment, everybody's healthy. I always tell strat players to focus on having your teammates be healthy first, and then damage is secondary. If you're getting dove, I mean, sometimes you just gotta shoot, don't get me wrong, but most of the time your main priority should be healing your teammates. Just another brief example, even right here, you start healing, but you're in the cloak and dagger. You should just be shooting people. You see? But you're healing, and then you're shooting, and then you're healing, and then you're shooting. Choose. I'm telling you, choose. Don't try to mix and match them unless you have a specific reason to. Choose one mode or the other. Just think of it like battle mode or support mode. Can I be in battle mode right now? Be in battle mode. Can I be in support? Do I have to be in support mode right now? Be in support mode. And flip the switch. Trying to mix them together is pretty rough. And keep in mind that if you reload one, you reload the other. So if you run out of bullets trying to shoot, you don't have to do anything special to reload your orbs. They all reload at the same time. So like if you see here, when you reload, you got them all back. All in all, I think you're a pretty good rocket player, to be honest with you. I think the thing we need to focus on is just your beacon placement, which is just rocket specifically. Your ultimate, your amplifier placement. You can try to get it high if you can, or at least in some spots so they can't shoot it for free. Because as you start climbing, they'll burn through it and it's gonna feel like his ult is useless. Positioning better. So try to stay in your hub. Get a nice little area that you feel is safe, and only move when you have to, because it allows you to see your team. It allows you to do damage as you need to, and you're not constantly trying to redirect attention everywhere else because you're moving around so much. And then the final thing is just kind of know when to shoot and when not to shoot. Battle mode versus support mode. I think you're doing a really good job though. There's no reason to have anxiety because you're definitely better than where you are right now. At the end of the day, I hope this video helped you. And remember, we do have replay reviews on Saturday. If you guys want free replay reviews, make sure you put your replays in there. We will do them every Saturday. If you're a member, you will get a video like this. Till next time, you know what I always say. Think you guys should do what? Happen often. Will often.